Do you not have access to a gym? Are you unable to leave your home? Then you need to grab yourself a resistance band. Only about $19.99 at Dick's Sporting Goods or Amazon.com. So come on down.
Whoa, Salesman Connor, what are you doing? What is that?
Just trying to sell resistance bands. What does it look like I'm doing?
No, that's not what this video is about. No, we're gonna show them how to work out with resistance bands. We're not trying to sell them to them.
You know what, Fitness Connor? That's a good point. Silly me. Back to you.
Welcome back, guys. Sorry about that misunderstanding in the beginning, but now that we're on the right track here, let's dive into an actual workout. So today I wanted to talk about the resistance bands and what you can do with them and what little you can have to actually have a full workout with these. I have here hanging on the door that I'm going to use for the examples is just one standard 25-pound resistance band. Now, what I like about these so much is the fact that you can go buy adjustable ones. So you can get one set, just a set of handles that hold up to 3 each. That gives you the variety between about 15 pounds of resistance up to 150. So as you can see, these are different thicknesses and different resistance. So when you keep adding more to it, these can be almost the equivalent of a whole set of dumbbells. So I will put a link in the description below to a set of these on Amazon so you guys can see about how much they cost and where you can really find them. So that aside, something else that adds versatility to these is the door hook. I already have one up here hanging on the door when I demonstrate, but this is one as well. It has a solid piece that'll lock behind the door, and then you loop the resistance band through here, and that gives you more versatility, so you can either do it at the bottom or the top of a door frame to add a lot more different workout structures. So now I'm going to walk you through what I would have as a complete full body workout if I had a day where it was nasty outside, I couldn't go, my gym was closed, or if I was somewhere on vacation or away from home. I can easily strap these to a door and do this 30-ish minute workout that I'm about to show you guys now. To start off, I'm going to go ahead and do some of the push exercises because those are the ones that utilize the door frame the most, so I want to get all of those out of the way before I take it off the door. So we'll start out with chest. Now, one of the only exercises I found that really work with the resistance band is just doing kind of a downward chest fly kind of press in one. So I'll take it, I will face the opposite direction. Now, I can either do a fly, or I can actually put more bend into my elbow and make it into a press. Now you may be thinking, well, isn't that just the lower chest? So with it being at the top of the door, I can only do this angle. Now if you want to get more of the middle of the chest, all you have to do is adjust your body. So if I were to just lean down more, instantly I have the middle of the chest. Now the last thing you can do is put it at the bottom of the door. You can hook it underneath, and that way you could have it come up. That's going to be a little more difficult because that will be all the way down at the floor. So upper chest might be a little hard to hit with these, but between those two exercises you should be able to get a good at least pump and kind of hit the chest enough for what you're doing. Moving on next to another push exercise is triceps. Now when I do triceps, one of my favorite exercises is the cable push downs. So this basically takes the place of the cables. So you'll face the door, keep your elbows tucked, and you'll just do push downs. Now I like to do them with a neutral grip, so I'll hold onto the middle of it above the handle, so that keeps my thumbs pointed up. Now you can also change the angle. If you wanted to do overhand push down, you can do it with the handles as well, or literally flip it around and do underhanded. So you hit 3 different angles of the tricep head just by keeping it at the top of the door. Moving on, let's flip it to the other side and let's hit some pulls muscles with our back. Now to hit lats, I kind of have to get on the floor for this one. So I'll get down, get myself braced at a good enough angle, have a nice neutral stance, and literally you're going to just do a lateral pull down. Just get a nice squeeze, whatever is the best position for you. Now, if you angle yourself more aggressively, you can also turn this into a row. This, you might need more space than I have, but if you get your hands closer together, you can still turn this into a row. It might be easier if you don't have this wall here like I do. If I were to, I could easily just move it to the front door. For the sake of shooting with the camera, I wanted it to be a side angle. but I can lean back more and turn this into a row as well. So you can either do your traps or lats, both with the same position we've been working with the entire time. Now you can also do one at a time. There's tons of variations. With the resistance bands, they're basically like cables that you have at your house that can change weights if you get these. So you have to just be creative and think, okay, what would I be doing with the cable machines at the gym that I can just do with the same pulley motion with the resistance band. All right, so with the help of my band to get back up, I will now be able to remove it from the door. And the rest of the exercises, we could, actually, I will go ahead and show you a few with the bottom of the door just to not leave that out. So with the bottom of the door, something that a lot of people wouldn't think of is if you want to hit the upper part of your traps, you could grab them a little closer here and do some shrugs. So you would need probably more resistance than this because that's a very minimal range of motion. So moving on from the door, let's go to what is the most commonly referred to position with the resistance band is standing on it. This is what you most likely would have seen if you've seen someone using one. So the key to this is you want to make sure that you're in the middle. So if you're standing onto this side, this one's easier and this one's really hard. Make sure you're as symmetrical with it as possible. And they feel about the same. And for this one, we can do the most bicep exercises. So obviously, if you're standing on it, you can get the basic bicep curl. And again, if you want to move it to a more neutral grip, you can get some hammer curls in. Both alternating, whatever you like. Now, an exercise that is very challenging, especially with higher weight resistance bands, is working shoulders, but this is the best way you can do shoulders. Now, let me turn sideways for you guys, whoops. You can either get over top and do a shoulder overhead press, get the cables behind you so they're out of your way, and that's why you can keep them in line, and just do a regular overhead military press. Or, the only other exercise really for shoulders is lateral raises. So I'll turn back for you guys, angle myself in that room, and it's a little past my weight range here, but you get the idea. Just try to keep yourself as neutral as possible, and always make sure you're planted on it because you don't want this thing whipping up at you because that'll really hurt. The last thing I want to touch on with the exercises involving standing on the band is one more tricep exercise you can do. I, again, always prefer the neutral grip, but you can also do kickbacks, which just make sure you keep your bicep and tricep part of your arm parallel with the floor and just try to extend straight back. Now, as you might have noticed, all we've done so far is upper body, and I'm going to hit abs last, but we've been able to do the chest, some traps, lats, shoulders, biceps, triceps. How do you do legs with resistance bands? Now, this is something I had to get a little creative with, but if you happen to have a broomstick that you just take the broom part off, you have now turned your broomstick into a barbell for squatting. I don't know where I came up with this. I don't know if I saw this somewhere or if it just crossed my mind, but this works perfectly. So the best exercise for legs is squatting. So I will loop a handle on each side and I will go back to standing on it. Now you just want to make sure those things, again, don't come undone. But after you get yourself looped like so, you can separate your feet for a good squat stance, and then you can squat. I might want to low bar it a little more for the sake of balance because it's a little different for me. I have very long femurs, so I have to do the hunched over squat, but it still works. Get yourself in a nice wide stance, and it would also help if I had more weight. This is, again, not much resistance, but there you go, and you can do some squats. Okay, so that pretty much wraps up what I've come up with as a full body workout. There's more exercises that I'm sure you can do for more adaptations and versions of what I showed you, but that pretty much will, if you do about 3 sets, 10, 15, 20 reps of each set, that'll take you at least a solid 30 minutes to do that workout. Now, I'm going to do an entire home ab workout in a separate video because I don't want this one to be 30 minutes long as usual. But there is also abs that you can throw in for about 10, 15 minutes that you can do, with your crunches, planks, bicycle kicks, and I'll show you all this in another video. The only thing that I've found that can that you can do with the resistance bands is hooking it back up at the top of the door, which I will actually go ahead and show you. Okay, we'll go back to hooking it back up in the door at the top. Get down on the knees, and you're gonna match it up with your head. You'll get back a little ways, and you're gonna stretch. You're gonna put up like an arch in your back so your abs are stretched, and then you're just gonna think to bring your elbows to your knees. And that will activate your abs if you are actually elongating them, like I said, and then contracting them. So bringing your hips to your chest and then stretching and arching your back. The only other thing you can do is if you have more room, or if you did it, say, here, and you hooked it back to the bottom of the door, you can actually get these and loop them through around your shoes, around your ankles. So in theory, I would have the band hooked to the bottom of the door in front of me, and I would have the handles on my shoes. And then you could actually do leg lifts with the resistance bands pulling away from you. So they would be weighted leg lifts. Anything else past that, I just do normal crunches and actual ab workouts that most people are familiar with. All right, so that about wraps it up. I'm not gonna sit here and talk all day about resistance bands. Just what I've learned so far is that they are very valuable, they're very convenient, they're not expensive, versatile, and they go with me everywhere because they really can save me in a situation where I don't have an ability to work out. And I don't want to get hyper creative and say, oh, what can I do a pull-up on or go do push-ups? I can do almost the same thing I do at the gym with one of these, a full workout as you just saw. So go ahead and grab you guys a set. It's not that expensive. Like I said, I will leave a link to one in the description below so you guys can see exactly how much a few different varieties cost. But that wraps it up for this time. Next we're going to go into some stretching and show you guys the basic stretches for just any workout. Just about 10-15 minutes to get yourself loosened up and warmed up before a lift so you can help prevent injuries. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next video.